at the rate we're going, pretty much anyone who has a D in front of their name will be running for president in 2020. I mean, this is going to be perhaps the largest field ever. Everyone is running, and we have another individual that may just be throwing his hat into the race, and that person is former 2004 Democratic Party nominee John Kerry, who, according to CBS News, won't rule out a 2020 White House run. Okay, so I've got two responses to this overall. My first response is, who in their right minds would be excited about John Kerry? Is there anyone in the country who cares about John Kerry that would think, ooh, there's someone I could vote for, John Kerry? I mean, I can't think of anyone. I mean, and the names that we're seeing floated, Michael Avenatti, I don't even know how to pronounce his last name, Stormy Daniels' lawyer, he's being floated. We have the Starbucks CEO, Howard Schultz. I mean, who's going to vote for these people? So my first response undoubtedly is just stop. Why? But the other side of my brain is saying, this is good. The more corporate Democrats in the ring, the more that left-wing neoliberal Democrats, or centrists really, neoliberal Democrats split their vote. Because if there's 100 different options on the neoliberal side and just one option on our side, Bernie Sanders, then what happens? We get the majority or the plurality and Bernie wins. But there's one thing that can throw a wrench in that plan. Elizabeth Warren and Bernie can both run simultaneously, thus splitting progressive votes and allowing a corporate Democrat like Joe Biden or even John Kerry to swoop in and win the nomination. If that happens, then we've got another potential disaster on our hands, because if you're going to put up a corporate establishment Democrat against Donald Trump, odds are we're risking another 2016. And I think Donald Trump knows this, because he actually tweeted out a statement mocking John Kerry, saying, "I see that John Kerry, the father of the now terminated Iran deal, is thinking of running for president. I should only be so lucky, although the field that is currently assembling looks really good. For me." So even though I hate to say things like this, but Donald Trump is kind of right. Most of the Democrats planning on running are atrocious. They're mostly corporate, opportunistic, neoliberal Democrats like Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, who are doing everything that they can to make sure that during these Brett Kavanaugh hearings, they get in some really good headlines and they really go hard on him, and it drives me nuts. It's, that there's an agenda. That they're all thinking about their own career. And here's the thing. We need a field of candidates that actually are running because they feel as though they personally can benefit the American people. These people are all just opportunists. And maybe that's not necessarily true with John Kerry. I think he's probably thinking, look, I was there before. I know how to run a campaign, and I could beat Donald Trump. I may have lost to George Bush, but I could win this time for sure. I mean, I don't know what he's thinking, but I think maybe he's not necessarily as opportunistic, just because, he's done everything he can. He's been a senator. He was a Democratic Party presidential nominee. He was Secretary of State. So, I mean, there's not much left he can do. So I'm less inclined to believe that he's just doing this because he cares about his career. But most Democrats in the field right now, they're only doing this for self-serving reasons. And I hate that. But at the same time, again, that helps us. We just have to hope that Bernie and Elizabeth Warren, only one of them will run, and of course it should be Bernie Sanders, because I'm sorry, Liz, but we all wanted you to run, and you cleared the path for Hillary Clinton. You decided not to run, specifically to appease Hillary Clinton and the establishment. So you had your chance. Bernie was the only one brave enough to run, and he should be the one to run because he galvanized this political revolution, and we're seeing it transpire in front of us. All these candidates are running on his platform. And he's the one person who I have no doubt could beat Donald Trump. Now, is it a sure bet that Bernie would beat Trump? Nothing is a sure bet. And I'm certainly not going to make the mistake I made in 2016 and underestimate our opponent, that is Donald Trump. But if you really want to increase the odds that we defeat that orange buffoon in the White House, You can't go with a corporate Democrat. You've got to go with someone else. I mean, most corporate Democrats won't be as bad and as incompetent as Hillary Clinton, but we've got to get Trump out. We need someone who can win, and that person is Bernie. So all these individuals, like John Kerry, who are running for really no good reason. It's annoying, it's stupid, and I don't get it why they're doing it, but at the same time, it does help progressives because the bigger the field of candidates there is that neoliberals have to choose from, the easier time progressives will have at getting Bernie Sanders through a Democratic Party primary, which he presumably will be running as a Democrat. In fact, I think he even stated he will be running as a Democrat. So, it is what it is, but this is just such weird news. I don't get why John Kerry, of all people, would choose to throw his hat back into the ring. It honestly makes no sense to me.
Support this podcast by becoming a patron at patreon.com/Humanist Report.